Hello, well, today's little waffle I think ought to be called a rant, because I'm in that sort of mood this morning. I'm on about hand tools, that good and bad hand tools and poor design and what have you. Let's take the old crimpers for putting on the end of wires as used in the automotive industry, and I was at one time in marine and we used a similar thing. These are a cheap old pair of nippers. You've got cutters and strippers and I mean, they're okay. I mean, they work. If you're not doing a lot of work, they're okay. They're cheap and cheerful, and they do work. So what can you say about that? But I recently went into a store and saw these things made by JCB. Let me say at this point, this is my personal opinion. I don't want any letters from lawyers, thank you very much. But I saw this, and typical of today's marketing and design, I don't think practical people designed this. They wouldn't have done. It looked good. It looked good, it's nice and heavy, it looks chunky, doesn't it? I thought, yeah. And I read the blurb, and I thought, yeah, that looks a more professional thing than that. So I parted with some of my grandchildren's inheritance and coughed up 15 quid. I mean, you can't speak to assistants nowadays, they're just shop staff, and they can't put a shelf up, let's face it. Anyway, the blurb looked good, and being in a blister pack, I couldn't try it. Presumably something to do with health and safety, so kids don't squash their fingers or something stupid. Anyway, it wasn't until you come to use it that you suddenly realise it's a design fault. And it's ridiculous. It has a ratchet system, you can hear it. But you can't stop squashing the fitting till you get to the end to release the ratchet. You have to go there before the jaws will open. Now how stupid is that? Presumably the manufacturers will say, well, if you're using the right colour code of fitting to the right gauge of wire and so forth, that will give you the correct amount of squash on the fitting. But come on, this is no one's perfect, and you sometimes have to use what cables and things you have available. So this was a pain, because you'd end up destroying loads of these things because you've over squashed them, or it didn't grip the cable properly. So sorry, thumbs down for that one. Can I get me 15 quid back? This thing I picked up boot sale or something, 50p. I suspect this had a ratchet at one time, but anyway, I picked it up and I modified it, and as you can see here, I've made a simple jaw with half a, can I get in closer? Yeah, I can. Half a round in there, a little dimple that comes into the half round, and that I've rounded so as not to cut through the plastic, and it works very well. If we're putting, say, this piece of that on there, let's do it real time, and that goes in there. Hang on, always the same when you're trying to show something, and you've got feel. So you nip it up to where you think it's appropriate. You can feel if you've got a good grip there, and there's the nip up fitting. It's not destroyed or squashed all of it, and you won't pull that off. 50p. Still, whilst on the subject of things that look good, yeah, I know I'm a mug, I bought those turbo pliers. Need I say more? Look good. It's the same thing, bubble pack, supposed to adjust to whatever size you want. Well, you can tell how I've looked after and what I think of these. More money wasted. You can't beat mole grips. Good old-fashioned mole grips. Told you today was a rant, didn't I? Right, Cordless Drills is the next rant. This is a skill cordless drill. I didn't buy it new, and I've had it many years, and it works okay. It's a 18 volt 2 amp hour with spare battery pack. It's a hammer action, and it works okay. The 2-speed gearbox, but the lowest gear is packed up on this. But to be fair to Skill, I didn't buy it new. It's had lots and lots of work, and things can go wrong, we know. So I haven't really got anything too bad to say about it. It has a keyless chuck. I don't like keyless chucks much, but this one at least does work. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. But it's heavy. It is very heavy. It weighs over 5 pounds. And if you've got a lot of drilling to do and your arms are above your head, you know, I'm getting on a bit, and the damn thing is heavy. It uses NiCad batteries. So I looked around for something else, and I saw this little Black & Decker. I thought that looks like a kid's toy ray gun or something. But I thought, by gosh, isn't it neat? Very pricey. It's about 75 quid, I think it was, when they first come out. I thought, well, that's neat. And it weighed 2 pounds. And I thought, wow, shall I go mad and part with some of my dosh? Well, as you can see, I did, but I wish I hadn't. The keyless chuck is the worst one I've ever come across. It uses lithium batteries. I thought, read the blurb. Lithium batteries don't have memory problems like NiCads. They don't slowly lose their power. No, dead right they don't. They just suddenly pack up halfway through a job. Literally, just stop in the middle of drilling, and that's it. You've got to recharge it. Doesn't stand up. Well, you can just about balance it. Stupid thing. You might as well have put a decent battery on instead of that stupid thing, and increase the capacity. It's got a light on the end. Look, seems like a good idea. But of course, it's only a damn gimmick, because if you watch where the light is, it's nowhere near where the drill is, and you've got no means of adjusting it. 75 quid. Must have seen me coming. Right, well, there's an end to this little waffle that way. Here's a pair of Falco Swedish garden secateurs. I recently saw someone looking at secateurs in a hardware store, and there was various ones there, and they had a pair of Falcos. Nothing to do with Falcos, incidentally, but just to redress the balance of my moans and groans. I've had these nearly 40 years. They haven't changed their design in 40 years, and they're absolutely superb, worth every penny. And I said to the woman and man looking, I says, pay the extra. I was issued with this pair when I worked for a company that specialised in rose growing. So this has had professional use, and it's certainly 35 to 40 years old. Made in Sweden. So just to redress the balance, thumbs up for those.